Hi, this is Samantha Bolkovich, GIS Educator Analyst from Washington College GIS program. I'm here today to show you the demo that goes along with the Select by Location lesson. First thing I'm going to do is open up Arcmap. The Select by Location tool is a geoprocessing tool located within Arcmap. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually open up the existing map document that has all of the layers that we'll need to complete this lesson. So I'm going to go to File, Open. All my files for this lesson are saved on the C drive in the GT102 folder and the Select by Location folder. Just going to open that. Here we go. So basically the focus area for this lesson is Pennsylvania, and you're going to be actually focusing in on York County, which is located right down here in the southeast corner. Before we get into the Select by Location tool, I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of what some of these layers are that we'll be working with. You can expand the layers to see what each point means by clicking the plus sign next to the layer name. You can turn on and off the layers by clicking in the box. So this layer that I just turned on are air emission plants located across the state. There are a lot, so it may take a while to load. So in the meantime, I'll just continue to turn on some of these layers. One that I'll be demoing is the water resources layer. I'll go ahead and turn that on too. As you can see, there's a lot of those as well, so they're going to take a few seconds to load. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to turn off the air emissions plants. I'm going to leave on the water resources and turn on the streams layer. Okay, so to open the Select by Location tool, I'm going to go up to the Selection menu and click on Select by Location. This opens up the Select by Location dialog where you can start to fill in what you're looking for or what you're looking to get out of the Select by Location tool. So the first part of the Select by Location tool is the selection method. There are a couple options here, but the first one that you're probably going to start out with is the Select Features From selection method. That'll select features from an existing layer. The other selection methods are add to the current selected features in. So you would use that if you have some features already selected, whether you use the Select by Polygon tool or the Select by Attribute tool, and you had features selected already. You can add features to that selection by querying their location. Remove from the currently selected features in would actually do the opposite and actually if you had a selection, whether you selected by Select by Location or Select by Polygon or Select by Attribute, if you had an already existing selection, this query would remove items from that selection that you weren't interested in. And the last one is Select from the currently selected features in. That would actually just narrow down the selection. But for this query, we're going to stick with Select Features From. The next section of the dialog is the target layers. this is where you're going to select the layer that you want your features to be selected from. So in this case, I am going to choose water resources. The next section is the source layer. This is what you're comparing your target layer against. So for this, I'm going to choose Pennsylvania streams. The next section is the spatial selection method, and I am going to choose features are within a distance of the source layer feature. This is where you select one of those 13 selection methods that we talked about in the lecture. If you choose select target features that are within a distance of the source layer feature, the next portion of the dialog is where you select or where you set the distance. Here I'm going to type in 100 and I'm going to change meters to feet. So basically when you have your whole dialog filled in, you kind of want to read it back as a sentence to make sure that you have the dialog filled out correctly. So in this case, what I'm looking for is to select features from the water resources layer that are within 100 feet of the Pennsylvania streams layer. So now I'm going to click apply and see what happens. Again, there's a lot of features, so it's going to take a few minutes, but once it processes through all of the water resources and looks at their distance from a stream, what will be returned is a selection of just the water resources that are within 100 feet of any Pennsylvania stream. If your layer has less features, it will only take minutes, but this one definitely had a lot of features in it. So now we see our results. If you're satisfied with these results, you can just click OK, and that will close the Select by Location dialog. If you want a different selection, you can go ahead and re-enter refill out all the sections of this dialog. But this is what I was looking for, so I'm going to click OK. To see how many features are selected, you can look down here at the bottom. It says number of features selected, 2009. You can also click on this tab at the top of your table of contents, and that shows you the list of layers by selection. So here it'll show you which layers are turned on, those being the ones that aren't grayed out. And then it'll also show you under selected of which layer was selected from and how many features are selected. So if I wanted to verify any of these selections, I could use my zoom in tool just to zoom into a point. I'm going to zoom in a little bit further. Until I just see the points and the stream layer. Now I'm going to use my measure tool. And I'm going to change my unit of measurement from meters to feet. And you can do that again by clicking this drop down arrow called Choose Units in the measurement toolbox and go to distance and feet. Next, I'm going to click right in the center of this point, and I'm going to just draw this line out till it snaps to the stream edge. And as you can see, that's only 47 feet. So it's within that 100-foot buffer. I just hit escape to remove the point. Now I'm going to move on to this other point. And again, this is only 27 feet, which is well within that 100-foot buffer that I searched for. Okay, so now I'm just going to give you some pointers to help you out with the assignment for this lesson. Basically, the assignment is to find the unpaved roads that share a boundary or intersect a stream. So in this case, I'm going to go back to my table of contents and change my view from list by selected to list by drawing order. This allows me to turn on and off the layers, so I'm going to turn off the water resources and turn on the unpaved roads. I still want to leave on Pennsylvania streams because we're looking for unpaved roads that intersect or touch the Pennsylvania streams. But for the map assignment, I'm only interested in York County. So the first thing I have to do is to export York County as its own layer. And to do that, I'm going to use my Select by Rectangle tool. And I'm just actually going to click on York County. Now, if you see, I selected some of the streams as well. So what I'm actually going to do is turn off the streams and unpaved roads, and then select York County. Just to simplify the selection method. Again, I'm just going to use the Select by Rectangle tool and select York County. Once York County is selected, I can right-click on Pennsylvania counties and go to Data, Export Data. What this is doing is kind of making a copy of just that selected boundary, and we're going to actually save it as a new feature class. So I'm exporting just those selected features. I'm going to save it not in the default GU database, but actually in my Select by Location folder. And I'm actually going to save it just as a shape file. And I'm going to call it York County. It's going to ask you if you want to add the exported data to the map, and in this case you do, because that is going to be our focus area for the rest of this map assignment. So what I'm going to do is turn off the Pennsylvania counties layer, so I just have York County on the map. I'm going to zoom into York County, and the next step is to use our geoprocessing tools to clip the Pennsylvania streams and unpaved roads to the York County boundary. So we're going to turn on Pennsylvania streams, and I'm going to go to my geoprocessing menu and choose Clip. And if you get confused which is the input feature or the clip feature, I always like to open up the Show Help, and it gives you a detailed description of what each portion should be. So the input feature in this case is going to be Pennsylvania streams. The clip feature is going to be York County, Pennsylvania. you can think of York County as being the cookie cutter for Pennsylvania streams, so that what we cut out is only the streams that fall within the York County boundary. Next, we have to pick where we're going to save the clip. I'm again going to choose the Select by Locations folder, and I'm going to save this as Streams Clip, and then click OK. If your clip is successful, it'll automatically show up in your table of contents, and you'll see this check mark down at the bottom of the screen. Now you can turn off the Pennsylvania streams, and we'll turn on the unpaved roads and do the same thing. We're going to clip it to the York County boundary. Again, we're going to go up to Geoprocessing, choose our clip tool. Our input feature, again, is the feature that we need to clip. So that's going to be our unpaved roads. The clip feature is York County, Pennsylvania. And our output location is going to be our Select by Location folder. And click OK. And let's turn off the unpaved roads layer, and now we have the unpaved roads just in York County. I'm going to change the colors of these just so that they stand out a little bit better. There we go. So in red we have the unpaved roads, and in blue we have the streams. So what we're interested in is the roads that are either touching a stream or intersecting with a stream. So we're going to choose Selection, Select by Location, to open up our Select by Location dialog. And what we want to choose is from the selection method, we're actually going to stick with what we did before and select features from one of these target layers. Instead of water resources, we want to select the unpaved roads of York County. So I'm going to uncheck water resources and check unpaved roads. But our source layer is actually going to remain the same as Pennsylvania streams. And our spatial selection method is actually going to change. We want to find the features that intersect. So that is the first option there. Target layers features intersect the source layer feature. Notice when you change that, the apply a search distance box becomes unchecked. That's really only used for within a distance. So I'm going to click OK and see what we get. Now if you notice, that didn't take as long as before. There are a lot less streams to go through now since we've clipped it down to York County. So if we look at the selected features, we have 181 road segments, unpaved road segments that intersect with a stream. But if you remember correctly, the assignment asked for roads that share a boundary or intersect a stream. So to add to our selection, we're going to go back to selection, select by location, and instead of selecting features, we're actually going to add to our currently selected features. We're going to stick with unpaved roads, and we're going to stick with Pennsylvania streams as our source layer, but we're changing our spatial selection to touch the boundary of the source layer. Click OK, and we'll see if our selection number changes. As you can see, the number hasn't changed, so there aren't any segments that we didn't pick up with just the intersection. So basically, that's all there is to the Select by Location tool and the map assignment for Select by Location.